In early 2012, the gaming news media were preoccupied with the Mass Effect 3 endings, and the following 2 months saw the media attention focus in on events as BioWare backpedaled in the face of the uprising. While all this was happening, a group of people, whom I was also a part of, organized ourselves in the PMs on the Ubisoft forums. Disgruntled Assassin's Creed fans who felt the way we did quickly joined in, and before we knew it, we'd actually managed to successfully boycott the Assassin's Creed Revelations multiplayer. But we had gone completely unnoticed in all the commotion surrounding BioWare. The boycott lasted over an upcoming weekend and caught Ubisoft's attention because multiplayer was supposed to be their new cash cow. And an apology of sorts was issued, but not really much to look at, and being a part of this group it seemed a small victory at the time. But it was also obvious that Ubisoft weren't listening. Our concerns were simple: the AC franchise was being milked for the sake of earning an extra buck. The story we had come to love was being watered down and wasted on needless entries that had nothing to do with finishing Desmond's story arc and moving on to something else. Ubisoft had become obsessed with churning out multiplayer games with a story tacked on, and DLC was being used as a weapon in the sense that key plot points, such as what happened between Juno, Desmond and Lucy, were left unexplained until you bought the DLC. Our biggest concern was that this was a sign of what was to come. And with the release of AC3, our fears were confirmed. This was not the game they had set out to create with the original Assassin's Creed. We were playing Ubisoft's answer to Call of Duty. A story for story's sake, with zero fucks given, and continuing on with the franchise made about as much sense as there being 2 parts to the hook blade. It would be the last time I gave Ubisoft money for anything. I moved on pretty quickly to Mass Effect and Dragon Age as my favorite franchises. My passion for AC died. My favorite game series was dead to me, and any feeling I had for it were pretty much bitter memories, like an ex that I was glad to have gotten rid of. This wasn't the first time I'd been screwed over by Ubisoft. I had played Far Cry 2 after all, and got hit with the infamous locked door bug that breaks the game if you save at 72% and turn your console off. Ubisoft's fix for that was reload the save until it works. If not, you'll have to start over. I did play Far Cry 3. I traded 3 of my older games for it at a used game store, and even after I did the same with Black Flag, I was convinced the company hadn't changed. Rather, it was clear that they had simply thrown us a bone, hoping to bring us back for more of the same generic, formulaic experience, and I wasn't wrong. Seeing that sentiment was growing, I reveled in every failure that the company had thereafter. A growing culture of disrespect began to evolve around Ubi, and there was a sense that they really deserved it. I almost prayed that they were dead in the water. It's been 13 years since that original boycott, and I wonder where those guys who first started the whole thing got to, if they were still playing AC or not. I highly doubt it. But I can almost hear the fireworks and sounds of corks popping off in the distance as millions of people throughout the world eagerly await what is expected to be Ubisoft's last failure before finally kicking the bucket. Whether that happens or not is inconsequential to me at this point. Over the last 12 to 13 years, I've become one in a million voices quietly humming away and giving my attention to other developers. And as developers rise and fall, new companies show up to take their place. Glory fades, empires fall, and even BioWare is a shadow of its former self. But unlike BioWare, Ubisoft's fall has everything to do with a lack of goodwill. Where BioWare fans wish the company would return to its roots, Ubisoft fans are simply ceasing to exist. The number of people willing to put themselves out hoping for more of the old Ubisoft are non-existent, and the words good riddance come to mind. I view the fall of Ubisoft as a good thing for gaming. In the last few years we've seen games like Tales of Arise, Baldur's Gate 3 and Final Fantasy 16 tell complete stories that don't require DLC. Even if it does exist, the main story doesn't need it to make sense. The idea that storytelling and enjoyability are key factors in gaining and maintaining an audience, and that profits are the end result of creating good games, is slowly returning to gaming culture. The end of the get good era and the cost of living crisis has eradicated the elitist culture that supported DLC from the start, and Western studios are looking down the barrel of an industry-wide crash. Ubisoft could be the first of many major studios to fall victim to its own reputation and business practices, and I sincerely hope this becomes a trend. Looking at EA, I can't help but feel a little hopeful that they might be next on the chopping block. Have fun out there, guys, and stay safe.